Hello everybody, in today's video we want to have a look at the quick menu of the Canon 7D. So let's get started. I think best thing to do is going from the left to the right, or better said, we start here with this blue field where it says AV at this moment. It stands for aperture priority, so the camera is in aperture priority mode, and we can't change this with any dial here. We have to do this with this dial. So we can go to bulb, manual, aperture priority, shutter speed priority, or program mode. I let it in aperture priority for now. And here we go. In fact, most of these menus we don't need, because everything what we want we have here. We can access it directly via buttons on the camera body. This is what makes the difference between a normal consumer camera and semi-pro and pro bodies. You have every vital function accessible via a button on the camera body itself. But however, let's go through it. So you can see we can go up here with the joystick, and then we can go with the wheel behind the shutter button and change the aperture. Of course, we can here navigate to the ISO, then hit the set button here, and then again we can, with the scroll wheel, I show it to you here, can then scroll through the ISO values. Then we can navigate to this one. It's probably interesting. You can, on the one hand, it's normal exposure compensation. With the wheel, with this wheel, you can now adjust this for bracketing. I made another video about bracketing on the 7D for HDR. This is in fact the easier way to the same menu setting, just via the quick menu, and then navigate here to the, hit the set button, and then you can go with this wheel do the bracketing, or with this wheel do normal exposure compensation. Let's go back by hitting set. Then we can go here. Here's the flash compensation. I also think I made a video about the flash exposure compensation, where we went via a normal menu, and this is the quick version to get there. So let's say if you shoot in TTL, you bounce your light somewhere and you notice, hey, the light isn't that strong, it could be a stop stronger, then you go up here to the right. Or if it's too bright, if the TTL delivers a too bright flash, then you can compensate by telling the flash in this way that he can go lower for a couple of stops. I keep it at 0, of course. Interesting thing here for you is that you can use the different, here you can choose the different focus modes. You switch between these modes with this button at the scroll wheel behind the shutter button. This one was very pinpointing, so that you could go through the bars of a cage. The next one will be not as accurate as this one, but still a single point and still very directed on a certain subject. The next one will also be directed on a certain subject, but it will always take the other AF points that surrounds it, these four, sorry, it will take this in consideration, so they assist the center AF point. The next one, there you have zone AF, where you can choose different zones for your autofocus. So in this case, just this points will be activated for autofocus, and in this case just this, and so forth and so forth. And the other one, the last one, here the camera will choose itself the object what is the nearest at the camera at this moment, and will choose for you. And then the next one, I nearly don't use this. For video I advise to set a standard. Oops, it's an upcoming shorty. However, here you can set your picture styles. Here's auto white balance. As I shoot RAW, I always have it on auto white balance, but here you can set, by turning this wheel, your different white balances. This is the metering. You can choose between the different metering types. Also something that you can easily access via the display above. So let's navigate further. Auto lighting optimizer, I don't use it, just have it disabled. And then we come to the picture. So what we do here is we can choose with this wheel what, if at all, what type of RAW we want. Let's say we want the full size RAW, the medium, or the small size RAW. I always go for the full Monty. And with this wheel we can use, if at all, what size of JPEG we want. So we could shoot RAW and JPEG at the same time. I always normally just shoot RAW. Very rare that I shoot JPEG. Let's navigate to the next one. It's the way how your camera is focusing. Here you can choose your AF mode, your autofocus mode. I made a separate video where I explain the different modes. I put a link into this video. Oops, let's navigate to the next. Here you can easily choose between single shots, so that it just takes one picture, high speed continuous, where you can do wildlife photography, where you have series, I don't know 18 to I think 8 RAW files per second and 14 JPEGs or something like that. Very fast very fast, yeah. Then you have the normal, the slow speed continuous, what would take I think 3 or 4 images. Then you have the self timer, what means 10-second self timer plus remote control. I use this on a regular basis for self portraits and for video. And of course the version that does 2 seconds and remote control. Normally I choose this one for video, because I always take a selfie before I start a video shoot to make sure that I'm in focus. And the last one, this is very complex, and in fact here you can customize all the buttons on your camera to determine what function will under what button. And this is material for a bunch of shorties in the near future. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day ahead. Happy shooting and goodbye.